Yeah. We got a starting pitcher today, Bear. Yeah. How you guys doing? Good.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started with Torey. First question for Torey. We'll start with Mark, second row.
Torey, excuse me, regardless of what happens tonight, it's been an amazing season for you and your club. Take us through the journey and how you got here.
Yeah, I haven't quite got to that point yet because we're gearing up for what should be our best effort tonight. But I think the way we'll do it tonight is how we've been doing it all year long, and some of the basic principles and core beliefs that we have inside of this organization. It is a committed effort. It is a sacrifice. It is a group coming together every single day to make something good happen between the white lines, and they compete. That's it. The bottom line is they love to compete. They love competing with one another, against one another, and then ultimately against the team that's across the dugout. And it shows up. It's real. It's a real thing. The words inside of our culture, such as adaptability, adjustments, effort, preparation, it is breathing every single day in that clubhouse. And that's what got us to this point. I'm a firm believer in that. And some of those principles a couple years ago were a little hazy and a little foggy, and it was dark. But coming out the other end and being where we are right now, we're very proud of that. But we got some work to do still. Mm-hmm.
Jack, in the front.
Corey, there's been a lot of criticism out in the ether about pitching to Corey Seager with the base open and key situations. Just could you address that, please?
Yeah. It wasn't a great decision by me, I got to be better, no doubt about it. And I've been in situations like that. I've been in the dugout with a hot hitter. I've been watching hot hitters, and we got to be better. We have a plan. We didn't execute it, and we threw a gutter ball basically down the middle, and he made us pay for it. So, I don't want to just intentionally walk somebody in that situation. You're putting an extra runner on base, and at that point in the game, you're trying to get back in the dugout. But he clipped us, and I got to make some adjustments. I got to be better at making that decision. So, yeah, I know there's a lot of, like you said, I call them the basement keyboard pounders, and they're allowed to. They're great baseball fans, but sometimes they got some good points. I'm sure that you're referring to those things. I just got to be better at it.
Teo, third row.
Torey, yesterday it looked like Merrill was up throwing a side in the late innings. Would he have been available if the situation were different?
Yeah, he was. He was available, and we were in a situation where it's all hands on deck, and these guys are coming by and just telling me about how engaged they are and how ready they are to help the team in any situation, any moment. So we pushed back his bullpen in case we ran into a situation like we did yesterday. Say we ended up tying that game, we'd already expired our length, and he was going to be available to us. Yes.
And then, is there any scenario in which he's available today?
We talked about that. The answer right now is no.
Ron, here on the left.
For a player like Seager, who's normally a great hitter, what do you see in him that's lifted himself to such another level during the postseason?
I haven't seen a lot of him, but I'm just going to refer back to what I remember him as with the Dodgers, and what I'm seeing right now is he is extremely selective, and he knows balls and strikes as the ball is basically coming out of the pitcher's hands, and he is able to check off of pitches, and he's locked in. He always had the ability to impact a baseball game. He had light tower power. He could hit for average. He's very dynamic when he was standing up there 3 or 4 years ago. But what I see right now is somebody that's gotten even better by being extremely selective, limits the movements. It's one simple movement forward, waiting a long time to read the baseball, and it's showing up every single day.
Jesse, here in the front.
Just going back to the Seager at bat real quick, what exactly was the approach for Kyle Nelson in that spot, and maybe what would you change in retrospect?
Yeah, probably. I do the same things everybody does, right? I sit at home at night. I have conversations afterwards. I should have walked him and let Castro pitch to Garver. That would probably be the easiest solution. But Castro was wobbly at that point in time, right? He wasn't showing what we wanted him to show us. And I felt like it could have been another base hit, another couple runs, and all heck was going to break loose. So the easy one is walk Seager, intentionally walk Seager, pitch to Garver. I don't want to give away our game plan, but we're not supposed to throw gutter balls right down the middle. That's one early in counts. No way, can't do it to him. So we just didn't execute, and we got to be better.
Gabe in the middle on the left.
Christian was in here yesterday talking about how he allows himself to sulk over a loss as long as it takes him to shower after the game, and then as soon as he walks out, he's a new guy. Do you have any best practices for that, and does it vary based on maybe the magnitude of the game or whatnot?
Yeah, I try not to bring the game home. That's, I think, what everybody tries to get to. Yeah, I try to shower off the day as well and walk out of here. We have a lot of discussions post-game about what went right and what went wrong, and we wear it pretty hard as a staff. But I am a human being. It's hard for me to turn it off, and at some point, as I'm laying down, I start to go over a few things, and then doze off. And by that time, I'm pretty comfortable, knowing where I need to stand the next day, knowing the adjustments that I need to make. But sometimes it's hard. This is a World Series. There's 3 games left, right? And we got to find a way to make good things happen, and that's what I'm thinking about a lot right now.
Nick.
Torey, to follow up on what Teo was asking about availability, would today be Fott's side day? Would he be available in relief potentially?
Today's Fott's side day, and we're going to talk to him as he's coming in here today. It's a possibility, yes. All hands on deck.
Bob on the left.
Hey, Torey, the road teams this whole postseason are 25-15. You think it's easier in the postseason to play on the road just because there's less distractions and everything else?
Yeah, I've been wondering about that. I'm trying to put my arms around how these guys are so successful on the road, right? I know that at this point in time, you have your family on the road, and maybe there's some distractions about getting away from the ballpark, coming to the ballpark, jumping into your uniform and gearing up. I don't know. I think everybody has routines. I can't explain it. I don't know. I think it's just good baseball teams that are locking up, and there is no distinct advantage on any platform, on any level, no matter where you're playing when the best teams are out there. That's what I go back to. I don't know the reason why. I mean, I kind of gave you my thought rather than an answer about them being on the road with their family, but it's real. And it's happening a lot. I go back to a World Series a couple years ago. The road team won every game between the Astros and the Nationals, if I can remember correctly, right? That never happened in baseball a long time ago. But I don't know. I think players are just ultimately prepared, and they're not fazed by crowd noise. They're just ready to go under any circumstance.
Same for you guys, right? You guys have played well on the road yourselves.
We have. I think our guys just engage, and I think good players like to make the home crowd get really quiet. That's something I learned from David Ortiz and Dustin Pedroia. They got no more enjoyment than having the ball leave their bat, and you could hear the collective, oh. I think they love that, and I think that's what great players like too.
Down here in the front on the right.
So, Torey, yesterday after the game in the clubhouse, Tommy Pham said he didn't really say anything about what today means. And Perdomo kind of echoed, yes, we know what this game is, but there's not much to say. Mm-hmm. Is that a philosophy you share? There's really not much to say to the team. They know the deal, or are there conversations about what needs to be done today?
No. I think if you play baseball so many days during a baseball season, if you have something to say every day, they're going to just be like, this guy's lost his mind. I try to get creative with my thoughts, and I do talk to him a lot. I talk to the group a lot, but I talk to the players in small groups or individually every single day. And I kind of get my message across by listening to them, finding out where they're at, aligning with them, and then pushing out my thought. But, today's a battle of one. That's it. It's a battle of one pitch and then the next pitch. It's a battle of one cut and relay and then the next ground ball cut and relay. It's a battle of just one thing at a time, and then pick your head up at the end of the day and see where that led you. So we got to break it down into that level. That's what my messaging would be today. And that's what I'll be talking to the guys about. I'll say that battle of one probably 75 times today.
Hazel on the right.
Hi, Torey. How do you strike the balance between managing aggressively because it's an elimination game, or just being yourself because that's what got you here?
Yeah, it's always the biggest challenge for me about how deep do you dig in, and what are you willing to risk? And yesterday I felt like a little bit of a turning point was Marte getting thrown out at second base. We were trying to be aggressive, and their catcher made a strong throw and knocked him down, and the next thing you know, they've scored a couple runs in the next inning. So you just got to be situationally aware of when to take those chances, how to take those chances, and how successful will you be. And I don't like a lot of risk. When we do things aggressively, there's minimal risk because we've rehearsed it, talked about it, and prepped for it in every way, shape, or form. But at the end of the day, I just want the players to be the best version of themselves. That's it. I allow them to go out there and perform with an open mind in a very free way, and then when we need them to step on the gas, we ask them to, and they understand where and why it's supposed to happen. But outs are a premium. Outs are precious. We got 27 of them, and at the end of those 27 outs tonight, there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. And if we protect the baseball, we hit the baseball, we do the things that we normally do every single day, we should be okay after those 27 outs. We've made some mistakes that has cost us over the past couple of days. Minimal. But when you're in this seat and this situation and a good team like the Rangers, they pounced on it and took advantage of it. And to me, that's a difference. I can give you a couple of examples. We all know what they are, but they made the big difference. We got to tighten that up as well.
We'll finish up with Barry in the front.
Best for last. Barry, you get the last question every day. Does it make you feel special? That's your guy.
Don treats me very well, and both of these guys do.
I've never heard him talk like that, you guys. Yeah.
I know how to butter people up. Come on.
You do. Yeah.
So just note, I mean, the Astros were also 5-0 on the road, so the Texas teams are 15-0 on the road during the playoffs.
Yeah, I can't explain that. It's crazy.
It is crazy, and they were terrible at home.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, just backtracking on holding the loss. I mean, when you were a kid, you played for Sparky.
Right.
Sparky was a guy who he quit because he couldn't handle the losses anymore. Same thing with Gene Mock. How was it different back then, and what did you notice with those guys?
Yeah. I remember my locker was right next to Sparky's office in Old Tiger Stadium, and he would chew on things for so long and have the discussions all the way through the night with his staff. And he wasn't a drinker, but he smoked his pipe, and I knew when he was in there because I could smell the smoke of the pipe. And I would leave, and he was still in his uniform. So I think he probably had a tough time letting things go and getting ready for the next day. Those are two elite minds, elite baseball people that probably couldn't deal with the failures of the game for an extended period of time. That's my guess. The way I knew Sparky is he cared so much about the players, and he cared so much about that city of Detroit that when he couldn't do anything and felt helpless to the point where it wasn't working, he didn't know how to make that adjustment. And I know that he had some tough years with the Reds early on, had some tough years with Detroit early on, but I think there's some perfectionism in both of those minds. I don't know Gene Mock. I've just read about him. But I think it winds the same way in both of their minds, and they couldn't let certain things go based on the way they were letting people down. That's my gut feel. I know that was part of Sparky's DNA.
One other aside, I imagine that you're glad the Dodgers didn't re-sign Seager, huh?
Yeah. I had a conversation with Mookie yesterday, and as we were walking out there and connecting a little bit, I'm like, what's going on with everybody in the AL East coming to the NL West? It started with Machado and then Mookie and then Xander. It was great. I actually sent Seager a limousine to take him to the airport and bring him to Texas when I heard he was going. I want him out of here. I want him out of the NL West so bad. No, of course not. No. But I was thinking about it. I was like, I'll get you the nicest ride to get on that plane to get out of here and go to Texas. It was not true. But, yeah, they had a really good team. They had a really good team. And I know there was a little hiccup when he had arm surgery. He announced that he was going to have arm surgery when he's here playing the Diamondbacks, whatever year that was. So, unbelievably talented player, and has just gotten better every single year. We got to be aware he is on the court. That's for sure. The big man runs a court. He's going to get the ball, and we know we got to keep the ball out of his hands today. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thanks, Torey. See you post game. Okay, we'll get started with Lourdes. First question for Lourdes. David.
I'll ask this in English and in Spanish. Lourdes, obviously, you've still got a lot to go. You still want to do some more things this season, but on a personal level and on a team level, this has been your best Major League season. Can you reflect on what that's meant to you? Obviamente, todavía quedan cosas por hacer, quieren hacer más aquí, pero a nivel individual y a nivel colectivo, ha sido la mejor temporada para ti en Grandes Ligas. Si puedes reflexionar y hablar un poco de eso.
No, de verdad que ha sido, bueno, está siendo mi temporada de ensueño, la verdad. He logrado individualmente y colectivo todo lo que cualquier pelotero quisiera, ¿no? En una temporada como esta.
It's been a dream season, both individually and collectively. I don't think I could have asked for more.
A few more for Lourdes. Jack.
I know you got a big game to play today, but opportunity to ask you, how much have you really enjoyed playing with this clubhouse, this team, and would you like to stay?
Se viene un gran partido hoy. ¿Qué tanto quisieras quedarte y qué tanto has disfrutado jugar con este grupo?
No, mucho. De verdad que sí, le tengo que agradecer mucho al colectivo que nosotros tenemos. Me he sentido súper como una familia aquí. De verdad que he disfrutado mucho jugar con este equipo.
A lot. I felt like within a family here. Very grateful for the whole collective group.
Evan.
What are some highlights from the season that you're going to remember for years and years and years?
Algunos momentos destacables que quizás van a resaltar después de tantos años después.
Han sido muchos, ¿no? De verdad. Desde que llegué a Spin Trainer estoy teniendo muchos momentos bonitos en este equipo. Con el amor que se juega, la pasión, los muchachos jóvenes, de verdad que es algo que me voy a llevar conmigo siempre, ¿no? Las ganas que siempre tenemos de jugar, eso es algo que siempre llevaré conmigo.
There's been a lot since I've arrived in spring training. I think mainly just that love, that passion that these youngsters play with. I think that's going to be what I'm going to remember most.
Paul in the back.
Obviously, you guys had to win 2 in a row in Philadelphia. You did it. Now you got to win 3 in a row. Is there any nerves or anything in the locker room, or did it seem exactly the same today as it has all postseason?
Ganaron 2 consecutivos contra Filadelfia. Ahora se requiere 3 contra Texas. El ánimo, el carácter ahorita del clubhouse, ¿es igual o es diferente?
Ahora mismo el ánimo está como que tenemos otro partido hoy que tenemos que ganar, así como lo teníamos ayer. Nada cambia, no vamos a cambiar ni la ansiedad ni la presión de que tenemos que ganar, y tenemos que seguir ganando, sino de que tenemos otro juego más hoy y a salir a hacer nuestro juego.
The mood is the same. Nothing changes. It's the same. Just like yesterday, we have a game today to win. We don't kind of look ahead as far as how many we have to win. Just go out there and win today.
David, third row.
Again, I'll do both. You come from a great baseball family. Your dad is a legend in Cuba. We know all about Yuli. He's played in the World Series. Now you have played in a World Series. What's it been like for your family to see you doing the things that your brother and your dad have done, and how happy are they for that? Obviamente, tu papá es una leyenda en Cuba. También tu hermano, que ha jugado en Serie Mundial, torneos internacionales. Ahora tú le sigues los pasos jugando a la Serie Mundial. ¿Cómo ha sido eso para ellos y qué tan contentos están ellos con esto?
No, están muy contentos. Ahora mismo, quizás 15 minutos antes de venir para acá, estábamos sentados en las gradas del estadio y mirando todo alrededor, y de verdad que es un sueño para ellos y para mí también estar aquí. Y estoy muy orgulloso de poder mantener a mi familia aquí también.
It's been great. It's been a source of pride to be able to be here with my family. Just not long ago, we were sitting up in the stands, just taking it all in, observing everything with my dad and my brother.
Over here in the middle.
Hi, Rod. Hi, Rhodes. When you were traded, what was your reaction and how did you handle it?
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
When you are traded from the Blue Jays to the D-backs, what was your reaction and how did you handle it?
Cuando fuiste intercambiado, ¿cuál fue tu reacción cuando sucedió eso?
No, como lo he dicho, la primera hora fue de mucho impacto, ¿no? Primera vez que pasaba por un cambio, pero ya después tuve que cambiar mi mentalidad y con el apoyo de los compañeros del equipo aquí en Arizona y de mi familia fue muy fácil hacerlo.
The first hour, I'll admit, it kind of impacted me pretty well. But then after that, I had to change the mentality, and thankful for the teammates here, I was able to kind of make that adjustment and feel comfortable.
Any last ones for Lourdes? Take one more up here with Alex.
Did you and Gabby talk a lot during the off-season going into the first spring training with the Diamondbacks?
¿Platicaste mucho con Gaby durante el tiempo muerto antes de llegar?
Sí, desde el momento que subimos del cambio, nos comunicamos, y bueno, tenemos que hacer las maletas ahora. Pero ya desde ese momento creció nuestra conexión y nada, de verdad que Dios nos puso en ese camino y gracias por eso.
From the moment we heard about the trade, we got into constant communication, said we had to pack our bags together, and it's been great ever since.
Any last ones? Ron?
Sort of a non-baseball one. Just how did you settle on purple for the hair color? It's not a team color versus the other ones you could have picked.
El tema del color del pelo, ¿por qué decidieron con morado?
Nada en particular, anteriormente lo había tenido rubio, otro azul y nada, lo decidimos yo y mi esposa en el off-season, vamos a probar a ver cómo se ve y desde el primer momento tuvo muy impacto con la fanaticada y yo me lo disfruto con ellos.
Nothing in particular. In the past I've had blonde, I've had blue. During the offseason my wife and I decided on let's try purple and I've liked it and the fans have liked it a lot as well.
Okay, thanks Lourdes. Thanks Alex.